आदरणीय डॉक्टर मुजुमदार, डॉक्टर रजनी गुप्ते, डॉक्टर विद्या रुडेकर, डॉक्टर राजीव दिवेकर, distinguished dignitaries, academicians, researchers, colleagues from industries, and all my dear friends. I am delighted to be here virtually with you at all the 12th Annual International Research Conference, SIMSARC, of the Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies this year. Symbiosis is the premier MBA institute established under the first ever public-private partnership between Symbiosis and the Ministry of Defense for imparting management education primarily to defense personnel and their dependents. I would also like to congratulate here the parent Symbiosis International University on the occasion of their Golden Jubilee year, and I wish you all the very best for future progression and accomplishment. Today it is my pleasure to deliver an address on the theme The New Normal, New Ways, Implication for Business, Environment and Society, where adoption of cutting-edge technology, innovations and digitalization would bring case of ease of living life. We strongly believe that society should be livable, workable and sustainable for all with an important focus on ethics, ecology and the environment. We all must be aligned with the commitment made by our Honorable Prime Minister recently at the COP26 summit to achieve the target of net zero emissions by the year 2070. This is a challenge which calls for a concentrated efforts from all stakeholders, particularly the young educated generation like you. India is the fastest growing economy. Infrastructure development plays an important role in the fulfilling the vision of India is becoming a $5 trillion economy in the next 5 years. In the past, state-wise lockdown due to COVID-19 have led to some delays in the implementation of infra projects in the country. But friends, we are now gradually coming out from the dark era of the pandemic and settling into the new normal life. The government has given a massive push to economy through the National Infrastructure Pipeline and PM Gati Shakti National Yojana, that National Master Plan. And this program should ensure integrated and holistic infra development in the country. The government is dedicatedly working towards the development of national highway network of 2 lakh kilometer length by 2025, and we are developing 22 greenfield access control expressways. Besides cutting travel time and fuel cost, it would bring socio-economic development to the region. I am just giving you the example. Now presently the all traffic from the North India going to South India is going through Pune and is Pune to Bangalore and Pune to Solapur road. So now we have taken a decision to make a green highway, new access control green express highway from Surat coming to Nashik, Nashik to Ahmednagar, Ahmednagar to Solapur, by which they don't need to go to Mumbai and Pune. So this only one decision going to resolve the 50% traffic jam problem and pollution problem in Pune and Mumbai. So these are the new type of new innovations regarding road construction. We are taking initiative. There is a huge scope for involving young engineers and MBA graduates in the national mission, where you all can effectively contribute for construction management, timely execution of projects, cost analysis, and steps that will improve the overall execution of road projects. Our mission is we need to reduce the cost of the construction and improve the quality of construction. That is the mission. Reducing logistic costs to below 10% of GDP is at the top of the agenda. So the government is developing integrated inland waterways, air connectivity and road network. We are developing 35 multimodal logistic parks and allied ecosystem like a warehouse, cold storage across the country. We have successfully incorporated the fast tag system at Toll Plaza across all national highways. And further, the ministry is working towards enabling GPS-based tolling, which will facilitate real-time remote tracking of cargo vehicles for better route and inventory planning by business. To improve the efficiency of logistics in the country, the people like you can play an important role by doing research, innovations, and case studies in the warehousing and inventory management systems. There is a huge scope for application of management skills in demand supply analysis, network planning, route optimization, and efficiency of remote sensing, machine learning, and artificial intelligence technologies in the supply chains. This will open doors for application of skills in operation to manage the change that we are trying to bring in the transport sector as well. With so many upcoming new alternative fuels such as ethanol, LNG, bio-CNG, electric, green hydrogen, the transport sector in India is standing at a very important junction. Whatever policies we design and adopt right now will have the weight for the next 30 to 40 years, and we have a huge responsibility on our shoulders. And as the transport minister, I am constantly working toward designing policies which are market friendly and also transformative. We must be open to new technologies. What we need is a motivated push for technologies which have a positive impact on the ecology and environment. We can use our knowledge in management fields to constantly work and improve the economic viability of such technologies. I firmly believe that more than technical feasibility, economic viability is more important for any upcoming technology. Today, India is becoming the largest EV market for electric two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and cars. Startup and new entrants in the EV industry are performing well over traditional auto players. The per kilometer cost of petrol-based vehicle is rupees 10 rupees per kilometer. For diesel, it is rupees 7 rupees per kilometer, and for electric, it is only 1 rupees per kilometer. I am giving a special push for ethanol as a fuel. The biggest benefit is that it is a clean fuel with a very low greenhouse gas emission, and the additional income is directly diverted to the farmers, which empowers the rural and backward economy. We are committed to delivering flex engines soon that give the users an option to run on either 100% petrol or 100% bioethanol. And this technology is available in the countries like Brazil, Canada, and the USA. The green hydrogen is a zero carbon fuel and sustainable alternative to coal, oil, and gas-based energy sources. It is fuel for the future. With the development of low-cost electrolyzers and sustainable storage, transport, and dispensing mechanism, the cost of green hydrogen can come down below 80 rupees per kg. The municipal sewage water can be potential source for green hydrogen, which can be utilized to run public transport buses and taxis in the cities. We are also exploring use of green hydrogen as a fuel for railway, marine, and aviation application, and it will be a potential source of energy across the various sectors like fertilizers, cement, steel, mining, and heating industries. With this alternative fuel for transport, we require expertise from young business graduates like all of you to better understand the market and take the appropriate steps to increase market accessibility of all these policy measures. One more area where I feel that young minds like all of you can do wonders is the concept of waste to wealth. I always say that no person and nothing is waste. It depends upon the appropriate technology to convert the waste into wealth. And the government has recently rolled out a national automobile scrappage policy to deal with old and unfit polluting private and commercial vehicles. And this step would bring 25 to 30% reduction in vehicular air pollutants. It is also aimed at extracting maximum value out of old vehicles based on the world's best global tech practices. It will provide recycled and low-cost raw material for automobile components such as aluminium, lithium, steel, and will further bring down the manufacturing cost of vehicles. In 5 year time, we aim to make India's automobile sector the number one in the world. This will lead to a large scale employment generation. With so many progressive ideas of the government, I invite all of you to join and contribute in this mission of nation building with your skills, because I always believe that the human resource is the biggest resource for any organization and setup. With these few words, I wish the Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies all the very best for all successful conference, and we are looking forward to your recommendations and findings for the betterment of the Indian economy and the society. Wish you all a safe and healthy and prosperous upcoming new year. Once again, giving thanks to all of you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Delightfully insightful, thought-provoking. Researchers who are presenting their papers today have benefited from